An interception. Relo.
What a remarkable drive, man. That's an All-American drive right here.
It's not exactly unwarranted. Like, when you have a guy as that electric.
The legend himself, the GOAT, Dre Crowell.
Where my warm bottle movement at?
That kills your argument right there. Anything can happen. This game is not over.
What's good, Relocation Football League fans? It's your boy Smitty back here in the booth as always, and we got Rob here on the podcast this week. It always seems like got one guy or the other. But man, hopefully get back to a rhythm where we have all the three of the boys on the podcast. Yeah, it's been rough. I know guys been out there though getting personal things done. Once again, shout out to Rob. I give you a shout last week for landing that new job, my boy.
Yeah.
Let's get the clap. I think that's why I need new celebration sounds on this on this thing. We need to clap. What other things? I'll think about it after the pod. But yeah, shout out to you, man, for getting that. And
maybe a money falling, coins falling.
Yeah, I'm about to really swag this out because I'm like you were trying to tell me before about the Stream Deck. I'm starting to learn how to use the pages. So I got a whole page for the podcast, and now I got a whole one, for the regular game day stuff. But
good.
But yeah, I'm about to get some more sounds on here. It's gonna be fire. But you guys already know what it is. It's the RFL podcast, as we like to call it, the Relo recap. Appreciate everyone that is here right now. Those who tuning in just from watching Dunn's podcast over there, man. That's my guy and all that, man. He's hilarious. Definitely got the Colin Coward type feel. Dude just says all kinds of stuff at times. Sometimes you got some stuff to agree with. Sometimes it is what it is. But we might tackle a decent amount of even what he talked about, a decent amount of what Back talked about as well. And we will be showing you guys the official playoff picture as if the playoffs were to start today, who's in it. Those are now in the file that is showing, so you guys will be able to see it in real time on which teams would be in right now if the playoffs, were to start. So let's go ahead and get to it. I hope I did not delete the wrong thing here. Okay, no, I didn't. All right, cool. All right, so we're going to recap Week 12's games. We kicked off Week 12 with this game on Thursday, the Condors and the Wizards. The Condors at first were rolling. They were up 14-0 over the Wizards. And slowly but surely, the Wizards start to fight and grind their way back. Leo Moon was composed for a decent amount of throws that really helped them get back within this game. He had the one touchdown and one pick. But at the end of the day, that's what you want to see out of Leo Moon. We know it's still growing pains that's going to happen for this kid, right? Just a second-year quarterback. His team's sitting at 7-4 now with this victory over the Condors. Condors, been having it rough. Cornell Mickens has been an absolute dog. But still struggles are still there for the Condors. Wizards are still kind of in the same boat. They know what they're working with. And at the end of the day, they showed really good fight and were not going to walk out of this game without putting their best foot forward. Never gave up and walked out with a victory 20-17. And shout out to Hodgman, his player, 9 receptions, 121 yards in this game. Real big breakout. He had a game, pretty much the game-sealing catch because it was over really for the Wizards. They threw the ball down the field. Hodge went up there, climbed the ladder, got the big catch and put them in field goal range to put this game away. So, and shout out to the Wizards. I wouldn't say it was over. Probably would have been overtime. But shout out to the Wizards for getting it done. What's your thoughts on this game? And, just these teams, if you have any other extra thoughts outside of that.
Yeah, well, first of all, big shout out to the Wizards, for putting it together and being here at 7-4. I think this is probably a lot better than, some people might have said that this team would have been this year. And, I just want to say that, while the Condors played them hard, man, you can tell when you see Mickens' numbers there. This is a power back, and
he's a elusive back.
15 carries and 11 receptions, right? Out of the backfield. And so the offense ran through him. Wizards were able to stop that through defense and did a pretty good job of maintaining these guys, having these guys at bay. And so, with this game, it was 17-0, and they came with 17-3.
14-0.
14-0, and they came back with a 20-3 unanswered points. It was because of the defense. The defense kept McCoy at bay, kept these guys limited, very limited. So I thought that the defense really shined. You saw the pick by Loso, and I'm trying to remember if there was anything else that was significant in that game on the defense besides just a lot of 3 and outs, if I'm not mistaken, with McCoy, and just an inefficient defense able to move down the field. So that coupled with obviously the play of Darius, who I called Darnell, and Darius and Darnell again.
Man,
Darius,
it's going to get us for years, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, and I don't really care, guys. I don't care at all because he's got 2 players. They know how I feel about that. Yeah. So, he had a stellar game. He actually tied. Did he tie his? He tied his career high, or he's one more than his career high. His career high was 8, and I think he broke his own career high of 9 receptions in the game. So a pretty good game from Hodge there. Bryson was okay at times, but I don't really think the running game, in my opinion, was that stellar of the Wizards. I think that's a weakness.
Less than 3 yards per carry average. They actually been doing pretty good when Vondre's been running, but when they try to use other backs, it's been terrible. They just shut down the run this year.
They bring in Jaron at times, Adam Jaron at times, and that's just not working out, for him. So I think that's a situation that they're going to have to resolve soon. And I think that I honestly just think that if they, can bolster that a bit, like the Explorers did, these guys look all right. I liked how Leo Moon looked as well. Hats off to the Wizards. Great game.
Yeah, and I also want to go ahead and give a shout out to, I don't know how this even slipped my mind. A shout out to Lito because he had a solid game.
Yeah,
you're having a really good sophomore season, my guy.
It was a pick, though.
He had an interception. I think it was just an interception. He had got a forced a fumble recovery as well. Yeah, so he was balling. Of course, got to put the boy on the poster, man. Was about to put Hodge on there, but then I thought I was just like, even though he had a breakout game, the pictures for him was just hard to fit within that square. So I was just like, you know what? Let me go with Lito. So put 20 on there. They got 20 points on the board. So it's a fire pick. So shout out to Lito, man. Let's get hashtag Lito Loso in the chat, or Fabuloso, whichever one you want to call him. All right, second game of the week. This was on a Friday. The Snowhawks and the Steamers. This game was absolutely fire, and this shows you the potential of what this Snowhawks team can do and what they should be capable of. 24-21 is the final score. They are able to knock off the hot Steamers and cool them off just a little bit. Steam went away as they fall to 11-1. Of course, the Steamers didn't make it easy. They were marching down the field, doing everything, trying to get back, but the Snowhawks stood firm. They got this win. They're 7-5 on the season. They keep their playoff hopes alive, which is very important for them. And we could even dive more into that, because other podcasts, of course, we're talking about, the situation with Mitchell O'Brien. But to me, it's not new news. It's not new news because, I'm pretty sure guys already knew that Mitch was in the hot seat for various reasons. Some guys saying they're surprised. Dunn being one of the guys saying he's surprised about the situation. And guys will look at the Relo Bowl, as just, okay, he made the Relo Bowl. He shouldn't even be in the seat. That was 2 years ago. And even if you narrow it down, which I've done before and, some podcasts ago, this team that year didn't win the division. They made the playoffs, and he tried to say how they have the easiest route to the playoffs. Well, they did. They had to play the Elks, who took the division from them, who shouldn't have had it in the first place. They beat them. They had to play the Desperados, who we all knew were not, they were just winning, and when they get to the playoffs, they get smacked. So that's 2 easy road tune-up games, you could say, for the Snowhawks. And then you got to give them their credit. They did beat the Explorers, right? They beat the Explorers. That's a big game. That's a huge feat for them. But then after they go to the Relo Bowl, they play the Celtic Tigers. And even if they lost, even with the loss, if they still lost, it wouldn't have been as bad if the blowout wasn't that bad. 44-6 is just unacceptable with this team. You look at back when Mitch O'Brien took over this team, which was back in season 3. This team was already making the playoffs before then, even though they only had the one season. I think, the one season he came in, in season 3 and everything. But he didn't. He's the biggest thing he's done for them is taking them to a Relo Bowl, technically to just get blown out. And this team should never have missed as many playoffs as it has already. And so that's my problem with Mitch. Now, if he was on some other team, I have no problem with it because I just feel like he's on a team that puts him in too much of a stressful moment that he can't handle. I can see him thriving somewhere else, coaching for, another team. I've seen guys even talking about the Condors and other teams like that. If he goes to one of those teams, I think he's going to do well. When you have this type of pressure on your shoulders, the Boulder, at a young age like Mitch was, because we knew he joined the league as a coach when he wasn't even supposed to because he was underage, and then, and this is like not necessarily just to air out all the business, but I mean, this is stuff that's already out there, even after the situation where he's, cheated the draft, he still got to keep those players. Those players are still on his team. One he traded away, which he should have kept, in my opinion, but those players were still on his team. He had the biggest advantage to make this team pop off playoff after playoff, to be honest. And they haven't been doing that. They've missed the playoffs for 2 years. That's unacceptable. Well, going on 2 years if they do not keep this up. And so that's just unacceptable to me. A lot of guys like to look at what recently happened. A lot of guys don't know the RFL history. And, I can understand fans are going to do that. Fans are going to sit out there. They're going to talk about what they recently saw. They're not going to go back to season 3. They're not going to go back to season 4 or 5. Look at why we have these topics on and reasoning and things like that. So the Steamers, I mean, at the end of the day, they tried the best they could, and Snowhawks shut down the run game. Snowhawks, shout out to you guys for getting this win. This is what the team is capable of. And the last thing I wanted to say, which is where I was trying to get to in the first place, is it's already been a deal. Snowhawks have to make the playoffs in order for Mitch to keep the job. That's just what it is. He has to make the playoff. There's no reason he shouldn't even I'm still even giving him out, because even if he doesn't win the West, he can still make the playoffs, right? He still technically can make the playoffs. So you don't, if he doesn't at least do that, that's unacceptable. He can't coach the Snowhawks no more. But this honestly is not new news. This is stuff that's been out there. I guess people didn't know that aspect. I didn't put that out there like that about the playoff situation, but I think it's straightforward. Guys should already know at this point. So this is what I want to see out the Snowhawks every week. What you got to say about this game here, Rob?
I'm a mixed bag of emotions with all of this here. I feel like Nostradamus as I've grown into my gray hair, because I said this on many years ago, that we got over the Mitch situation of stealing the draft and those players, but that it would haunt him. It would haunt him for the rest of his career here, whether he likes it or not, and whether, it doesn't matter what the community thinks or year to year, they don't think about it, but it's going to always come up at some point that, he stole that draft and he amassed a team. And now looking back, he amassed a team that just wasn't as successful as it could have been, despite having the upper hand and stealing a whole draft. I think that, that resonates a lot. I don't normally do this, but I just want you guys to understand just how real this thing is. This is not a fantasy land. Coaches here do this for real. And we take it serious, very serious. I get a text message in the middle of the night from Justin Jones on Saturday or something like that. And I'm just going to be honest. And this might ruffle feathers, but this is just real historical stuff here in the RFL, right? And he says, I'll never respect Mitch. And I'm revealing that because I understand where he's coming from with that, right? Yeah, you can call it a salty moment if you want. At the same time, you can understand.
You talking about from this game or from the incident?
Well, no. I had no idea that they had lost this game. Right?
Okay.
And so now that I'm here in RFL mode, I wasn't in RFL mode. I was in garden mode. Hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill, 80-degree weather mode, right? And I didn't understand what he's talking about. I'm like, huh? And he's like, no, I'm just saying in general, man. You know what I mean? And that resonated with me as I'm sitting here and I hear you talk. I understand this now, right? Because you have a guy who works his butt off, right? And he absolutely, and there's a lot more to this backstory guys don't know. One day this is going to be one day we're going to have the 40 for 50 for 50 RFL, whatever you call it, man. You know what I'm saying? Where you got to understand what O'Brien was going through, what Jones was going through with O'Brien and Kozira in the early days, right?
And that's
and where
the stuff
he is
people
now.
don't see, man.
Yeah, you got to understand where he is now, and he loses to this team that still has the stolen draft, right? You know what I'm saying? And like he's 11-0, and that's the last guy you want to lose to in a year that the Snowhawks suck. You know what I'm saying? You guys just got to understand where it's coming from. It's not hate, man. You know, I know you guys love O'Brien. You worship him. You know, he's got a huge anal following here in the RFL. You know what I'm saying? Guys just love him. Ew, it's nasty, man. Why'd you say that, Mix?
Yeah,
but you know, I'm just saying though, man.
Word
you know what I mean?
kind of terrible
yeah,
there, but
yeah, word choice terrible. Yeah, but you got to understand what it feels like to be 11-0 and lose to 7-4, and lose to a guy who, you know, he still has the blood in his hands, in the infamous words of Macbeth, right? And so I get it. Amir Williams zapped out of this game, man. This looks like the old Steamers, right? This looks like Kerrigan 7-yard day again and a close loss. That
and he only got three carries.
Yeah, haunts Jones. It's just haunting Jones. His prized possession, Pro Bowl wide receiver, only 3 receptions. You know, his QB limited to passing yards and no INTs, no tutties, no mistakes, but it's like no production.
Yeah.
So I get it. I understand why this thing stings. I do have to say shout out to the Snowhawks because at the end of the day, it's about winning and losing, and it's about putting together the best game plan to win a game. And Mitchell O'Brien has done that here in week 12. So you have to say shout out to the Snowhawks and also the Snowhawk guys who weren't here for that era, because the Snowhawk fans and the players, they didn't get together and collude with O'Brien with his his shenanigans back in the day. You know, they just got drafted to us. So you got to give those guys props, man. But I said this, Smitty, you know, many years ago that this would resonate, this would haunt him, you know, even in success. And I'm going to tell you, as a coach, which is why I said I'm a mixed bag of emotions, and I'll move on. But I'm jealous because you had the best freaking team in the league. You drafted the best quality players in a draft. You start to lose all these games, and you're still here. And then on top of that, you're going to get to move on to another team. You know, I mean, I love the Cougars, man. I kind of can't wait till I can move on to another team. You know what I mean? This guy's about to be able to go and take over a team that's got plenty of young talent, man. You know what I'm saying? And we're saying he's going to be successful. Guys, one day there will be a 30 for 30 or whatever, 50, whatever you call it, 20 for 20, whatever you call them, RFL, and this will all make sense to you guys. Good GG to the Hogs.
And this is like, even to speak on this, and this is the show that Mitch as to how much he got to know that I rock with him, right? He may not feel that way. I know he's had some terrible stuff in the past, but bro, ain't nobody gonna get what you've been able to get since being here, bro. Yeah. Because I see more in you than than just what people see on the outside of what you've done. You know, I still feel like he loves this league. He's gonna do everything that he can just to have fun, to help people out, and to help the league progress. I truly feel he genuinely loves the league and that he tries his best. And I just feel like he's just one of those young bulls. Same deal with, other people in the past, that were here and stuff. I'm going to give them an opportunity. I'm going to give them chances. And, he ever since that incident, he's good. But it's just like the steamer. At this point, man, it's been 5 years. Snowhawks still ain't doing nothing. Yeah. I can't keep letting you rock out like that, man. I just feel like you got to go somewhere else. This team has too much talent for it just to be sitting there not winning the West. It's just unacceptable. So, yeah, Mitch knows I'll rock with him. I'm gonna stick with him still, but gotta be able to take this team to the playoffs this year. All right, moving on to the premier games. We had the Lancers and the Monarchs. Got our first look at Joseph Fontanez, Jofo, or as we like to call him, Fontanez 4. What we call him? Fantastic Four? Yeah, Fantastic Four. I don't know what I said the first time.
Somebody tried to call him Fontanasty. Who tried to call him Fontanasty?
I forgot, but Bill was definitely trying to rock with that, just like he was trying to go with the LC6 thing. Trying to go crazy, but Bill gonna take something wrong with it. But I said I don't know, but because that sounds like a different type name, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Fontanasty.
What? LC6. Well, I'm the one that added the say on it. The say LC.
Well, yeah, you said that recently when we was in
but
the
he said
back.
LC6.
Yeah. But I was the one that said it. I said it. He dragged it. But we'll definitely get to that game because that's after the premier games. But Joseph Fontanez, he didn't play bad, man. He was fantastic. I mean, he was
fantastic.
He was
fantastic.
I mean, he was all right, man. Like, 26, 44, 285 pounds, almost 300. I said pounds. 285 passing yards, almost 300 yards passing, a touchdown, and no ints. That's all you can ask for, man, especially against the Monarchs defense because they could be, pretty tough at times. But the Monarchs just handled business as they were supposed to, right? Preston Schrader, over 330 passing yards, a touchdown. Did throw a pick. Donovan Rhodes, beasting. He's definitely on his way for a 1,000-yard season this year. And it's crazy because he was a guy who was constantly 1,000. That next top back, I still feel like he is. But, he's had to split his carries since last season with Cleon Markman. And I think he still was just able to reach over 1,000 yards, even with Markman, and he's taking down his production. But at the end of the day, I mean, the duo seems to be working, and Rhodes is still eating regardless. I also want to give a shout out to Kevin Martin, the wide receiver, who he's been around for a little minute, but he really stepped up, made some big catches within this game. I'll play the bell on myself for D'Amico Brewer because I made the substitution for Joseph Fontanez to start in this game. I don't know what happened, but the running back depth chart reset it, and D'Amico did not get any carries within his game because I was going to have him just be the all-down backs. But at least from here on out, D'Amico will be the all-down backs. I ain't going to say guys who was in the VC with me earlier when he saw him balling in NFL teams, but he ain't balling with the Lancers. That was hilarious, man. But, and John Johnson continues to do this. It don't matter win or loss. He's going to have 100 yards. He's going to ball. You can't guard him, even if you are guarding him. You could be on him like white on rice, and he's still going to moss you. So he still had a productive day, and that's what I wanted to see out of Joseph Fontanez in this game, right? Could he still throw the ball down the field to Johnson? He showed he could do that, had a solid game, didn't turn the football over. Love what I saw out of him. At the end of the day, though, shout out to Ramos and those Monarchs, though. 8-4 in the season. Lancers completely eliminated of any chance now. Falling to 4-7 after a 30-13 loss. What's your thoughts, on this game?
Yeah, just real quick. Who was this Martin character, man?
Kevin Martin. He used to be a wide receiver with the Gunners. He came over here now with the Monarchs, and he showcased some good games from time to time, but he just hasn't gotten too much burn like that. Yeah, and he had a really good game here against the Lancers. It's not like he's going off like that this season either. He's doing pretty all right for his role, I think so. I think he's got over 500 yards.
I tell you, man, one of the most consistent things.
Oh, before I go into that, I do want to give a shout out to Ramos, though, for the $100 donation, though. It says Big Monarchs win. Didn't want to skip over that. Appreciate that, Ramos.
Get that win. Get the 99 team. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, man. No, big shout out to John Johnson, man. Like, that seems like that guy's always been consistent for the Lancers. A lot of inconsistent play out of a lot of other players, but John Johnson, man. Jeez, always up there.
30.
Yeah.
Well, he's been every year. He's been bagging. Like, he's been a dog.
Yeah. You already know. You shut down Rashawn Gary, man. This team is like one dimensional, and without Mason in there, you got Fontanez in there. I mean, I see the play was decent, but can't expect not a recipe for wins or success here in the RFL. Big salute to Ramos. And the Monarchs, though, that's a great deal right there. 124 yards on the ground for Rhodes, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Rhodes is taking off, man. He was actually getting shut down earlier within the game, but just got better as the game went on. Mm-hmm. But the Elks and Crusaders, I would have to say this was the most exciting game to watch this week. I mean, the back and forth battle between these guys was just score after score. Wakefield and Worrell going head to head. And the Elks really, if they could have got this win, that could have just about made them just about the shoe-in for the West. So I know Coach O'Brien and them Snowhawks are excited that didn't happen. Ben Wakefield, 366 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Marlon Marshall, even though he didn't have 100 yards rushing in this game, still had over a 4-yard per carry average with 70 just about a 4-yard per carry average with 79 yards on 19 carries. Elijah Bentley eating 2 touchdowns, 88 yards. Roy Kincaid still continuing his young explosive career here as a wide receiver with the Elks. Just an all-around great game. Darius Martin, the running back, was leading the NRC. I think he's leading the NRC in rushing right now. He might actually be leading the entire RFL in rushing right now at this point. Good to see he's back and flowing. And, it's just crazy to see this Elks team, a team that looked so bad last year. I don't like, it ain't too much to harp on because I talked about it before. It's just like you obviously see what the problem was for last season. This team, like Bill even talked about before, wasn't even on that same level. This is a downgrade from last year, and they're showing success. But they've always had this talent. They've always had this talent to showcase. Unfortunately, could not best the Crusaders in this, and it's tough for the Crusaders this year. They're sitting at 6-5. I'd say out of those 5 losses, 3 of them they literally lost on by 1 possession field goal, 1 point. Even the Monarchs, go back to that Monarchs game back in week 2. Like this team could very well be sitting at 9-2 right now, right? They're that good, but unfortunately just haven't found a way to hold on for those victories. They hold on to a victory here, though, as they battle all the way back and win it 34-30. Great game here. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, a couple of things also resonate with me here. I didn't think I'd see the Elks at 8-3 this season. I didn't think I'd see the Crusaders at 6-5 this season, just trying to find their way around, especially considering it's so early in the season still. And at the same time, whenever I've called this game, this has always been like just one of those classic RFL matchups. You never know, what you're going to get out of either side. I thought that this was going to be in favor of the Crusaders when I saw this come up on the schedule. I actually thought it'd be a bigger margin. I thought that Ben Wakefield was going to come out and do exactly this here. I didn't know he'd be as accurate as he was.
Yeah,
but I thought he'd probably have more touchdowns in this, and I thought that the Elks would just get, just railroaded. But that wasn't the case. And I think that, as I'm starting to have to respect just players in general in the RFL, I have to respect Latavian Worwell, man. I thought that Latavian Worwell was like a Bill thing. I thought the Bill was making this guy operate better than he really is. But this guy is showing that without a user, he's still a pretty solid quarterback. And so I got to tip my hat to Bill because Bill was, an advocate, an outspoken advocate for this guy. He really thought this guy was like, Brady, when he was playing for him. And I never thought that this guy was Brady for him. I just thought this guy was like he's all right. You know what I mean? But this guy's showing that he can actually lead a team. That's awesome. Roy Kincaid is still amazing me. He's amazing me, man. Some of the catches this guy's making, the play of him is obviously, good. Whenever you can get Darius Martin, Doug Martin.
Oh, there's Darius. You were right.
Okay, yeah. Darius
Doug Martin used to play for the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm tripping. Yeah. There you get Darius Martin going on the ground. It's going to be a recipe for success. Just a veteran back here in the RFL. But at the end of the day, the game goes to its own to Wakefield and the Crusaders, man. So an edge out, kind of weird for me, but hey, it is what it is, man. Elks, like you say, finding the recipe, which I wanted to kind of touch on is, that recipe for success is really resonating here in the RFL. And we're seeing a lot of teams. It seems like there's so many teams still in this thing at this point in the season.
Yeah.
And then any other year that we've had. I wish the stats guys could be able to, calculate this stuff, man, and let us know. Is this the best competitive year in the RFL, man? It seems like there's so many teams.
I would probably say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably say so because, like you said, I think at this point we would have probably had at least maybe like 3-4 teams ruled out. But I can't really even say that too much without actually going back and looking back at it because it's just simply because of the way the league operates with the auto wins. Mm-hmm. It does take a long time for teams to start really getting eliminated. I think there's more. I think at this point we usually see who's the clear-cut runner for a division more often than what we're seeing right now. But right now it's like almost every division anybody can take. Yeah. So that's a difference. I think that's where the difference comes. Not necessarily about who can make the playoffs. It's about who's going to actually win their division. Because I think every single division has gotten better and tougher to win because even the weaker link teams are starting to put up a fight. I mean, shoot, even look at the North, right? Tigers coming up. Barons, honestly could have been looking better than what they are right now, but you're seeing what they're doing that later at this point, So that entire division now is competitive with the powerhouse teams of the Explorers and Thunderbirds in them, You know, and then we're looking at even the West right now. The Elks, didn't expect them to be here. Crusaders, able to beat them, still keeping in the mix. They beat the Condors, who Condors are 7-4. Snowhawks having trouble, you know, competing and trying to take this division. So it's like just the competition level of those weaker end teams are getting higher. And so I would have to say that's the difference this year compared to prior seasons. But shout out to the Crusaders for the victory. Okay, and when we get to our last premier game, which was the Dreadnoughts versus the Voyagers. This was a heartbreaker for Baker, man. Yeah. Absolute heartbreaker. I'm gonna play the bell for him, man. I wish I had you know what I'm gonna add on here, man, for a sound? I'm gonna add Mr. Krabs' World's Smallest Violin sound.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
That's what I gotta play for Baker right now, cause
are you playing it right now?
Nah, I mean I was just saying that myself since I don't have the sound. That was
the second screen, man.
That was a heartbreaker, man. Like literally you had the game the last seconds. Dreadnoughts, Owen Jack. Uzi fine. Oh, no shock. Cam Jones hits the slant, goes across, catches it. They win the game. Extra point, 14-13. There's nothing really else I can say about this. The defense has played great. A lot of sloppy play in general. But at the end of the day, Dreadnoughts pull out victorious. This is a big win for them. They're sitting at 8-3 on the season right now. And if I'm not mistaken, they are leading the ARC South, even over the Armadillos since they beat them now. So this was a huge win for the Dreadnoughts. What's your thoughts on this in the Dreadnoughts and even the Voyagers? You know, if you want to tap in on that, with them sitting now at 6-5, there's been conversations. We can even leak over into that conversation, even about what was talked about in other podcasts. Do you think the Voyagers can make the playoffs? Go ahead, speak on those things.
Yeah, you know, this first of all, this is called a swoop, right? And that's what Cam Jones did. Is he swooped the game away from the Voyagers. And, you know, I understand in a close game like this, a nail-biter, man, and to lose in that fashion just absolutely sucks for any team, man. This could have been anybody, you know? So I get it. I understand, you know, where Coach is at. I think I saw some of his comments. I was literally surprised. You know, Baker's not a chatty guy. He doesn't talk much. But I saw some – I was happy, though, that we touched his soul, man. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, he felt that because we want it to hurt, right? It's supposed to hurt. You know, it's supposed to hurt, and it's supposed to make you feel joyful whenever you, win, right? And so I wasn't happy that he lost. I was just happy that he showed the emotion finally, because we don't really get to see too much emotions out of Baker, you know, when he wins or loses, right? So I don't remember the comments, but I remember them popping up on I have all the notifications coming to my phone for RFL. So if anybody says anything, right, it's just pop up, you know, whatever pops up, especially guys that I like, I follow. I saw that, and I know he was really hurt by this loss. This is a tough loss at this point in the season, and this puts you in doomsday, man, with 5. Everyone doesn't want to hit 5, man. 5 at this point is tough. Boy, you know what I mean? Let me go back to the Dreadnoughts. Big salute to Coach Frankie for getting it done here and improving to 8-3. He has a little bit of cushion, but I needed to look at the schedule. I need to see these schedules, Smitty.
Yeah.
Because it you know,
I'm actually in the ARC file right now.
Yeah, it's a little fugazi
talking about
the
the
schedules,
Dreadnoughts,
man. Yeah, I got to see these schedules because I was looking at some of them.
Dreadnoughts got a nice little.
Yeah.
They got the Bisons this week, which I think is winnable. The Pioneers, winnable. It starts getting tough to get the Aviators, but then they get an auto win. Then they play the Miners, who we know is much better than what they were at the beginning of the season. It's going to be tough. And they beat the Dreadnoughts this season. And then the Red Dragons. So it's not going to be easy.
I'm going to bite my tongue here, Smitty, because 3 of those games are against you. And you've got a method of success here, man, that I've kind of bought into here. And I believe
what's going on.
And I'm seeing what's going on, man. And so I'm telling you, Frankie, I'm telling you right now, man. And then you got to worry about the users. Look, Dunn is on his job this year. Davis is on his job this year, right? So they've got 5 games, 3 against Smitty and 2 users.
Even with that, I think you can win. Yeah, good luck, though.
Good luck, man. You know what I mean? Good luck. It looks good. It looks good right now, Frankie. Shout out to that win there. That's a big-time win for you guys. Baker, salute, man. Good luck. But let me look at Baker's schedule because I got to see 5 for the Voyagers at this part of the season is terrible.
But this is what we were just coming in, like before this podcast, Dunn also spoke on this on his podcast talking about, is the Voyagers going to make the playoffs? And so when you look at the Voyagers' schedule, right, they got 3 automatic wins still left out of 6 games, right? So that's great. Yeah. That automatically is going to jump them to 9-5. Yeah. They got the Pioneers, beatable. So I say 10-5. Then they play the Armadillos. I think the Armadillos are cooling off. I think it's going to get much tougher for them in the second half of the season. I think the Voyagers should win that. They got the home field advantage. So that's 11-5 right there.
11-5. Okay.
And then their last game is against your team. The only way they make the playoffs, in my opinion, is if they beat the Cougars. And do I think they do that? I really don't know. Which is why, like, when he tried to say, like, oh, you got to come through and answer the question. That's easier said than done. I know the Cougars looking rough right now, but it's still a solid team that you never know can flip in an instant. And so at the end of the season, I'm sure that you're not going to rest nobody. You shouldn't, because you're trying to make the playoffs. So if it's getting to this point, it's going to be tough.
I'll explain. Yeah, we're going hard, man.
Yeah, so it's going to be tough for the Voyagers to be able to get this win, that win, which I think if they beat y'all, and even if they do, their division record, as Dunn was also talking about, but like that's what I knew about as well. Even with that division, even if they were to do that, their division record kind of puts them behind everyone else. Right now, I think they're 3-2. No, 2-3 in the division because they got swept by the Red Dragons and they split with the River Hogs. They beat the Pioneers already, so then here's the rematch with the Pioneers this week, right? And they destroyed the Pioneers back in week 2, 31-13. Of course, teams get better, but I don't think that the Pioneers are still at that level yet to defeat the Voyagers. So they will finish in the division more than likely at 3-3. That's tough to kind of win the division with that record and have the same record that you can honestly see the River Hogs having or the Red Dragons having, who swept them. So the chances of them getting in could be very slim. But think about the other teams that's not in this division, right? That's why it's so important for them to win against the Cougars, because if they can do that, they might not win a division, but they have 12 wins on the season. How many teams outside of the divisions is going to be 12-5? So they could take a wild card spot, something, So I think there's a chance here, but they literally have to win out from this point on. Are they capable? Yes, but it's got to be done. It's got to be proven, So it's tough, but that is what it is. And then we move on to the Super Saturday game where we can talk about LC6. Because and I'm only going to say it for this segment in that game because
it's stuck now, man. You said it.
No, I mean I said it during the game. I'm the one that started it up. I just said it because of course, guys like to drag LC3 after he has performances where he's turning the ball over. But go ahead and check up LC3's track record. This dude is still one of the most secure quarterbacks when it comes to taking care of the football. One of the most accurate quarterbacks when it comes to throwing the football.
Is this the second game he's had this many interceptions in his career?
No, he's never thrown 6 interceptions in his life.
He's thrown 5.
I don't even think it was 5. I think it was 4 against the Gunners. But I have to go back and check. You said it was 5. Don't say it, and then it'd be wrong. But was it? Yeah. No, I couldn't.
That was 5. That was 5 that game. It was ridiculous. He threw 5 that game. That was a podcast game where I was like, oh, he's definitely going to throw 5 interceptions or whatever. And he went and threw 5 interceptions.
Because what's it called? I think Jabri had 3. He only had 1 more interception than Jabri. So that means
really? Was it 4?
It might have been 4. I have to go back and check. But
it was ridiculous.
It's rare for him to have a performance like this. But this is what you want to see from the Columbus Explorers, right? Yeah. This was the undefeated team. They weren't really looking like this so far this season.
Wait, time out, man. Mm. Bruv, I'm known to be disrespectful, man. I'm pretty disrespectful.
Oh, but this is why I be see guys be saying I'm biased.
Is this ESJ?
No, that's LC3.
Who is this? I've been trying to find out who this is, man.
Hey,
man.
Dudes try to act like I don't like. I told y'all if I see a picture like this, I don't care what team it is. I'm posting it, man.
Yo,
it's just
in the words of Darius Hodge, Curbs nothing. Yo,
gotta
bro.
play the bell for it, man. Like
somebody gotta put the curbs.
There's no way I wasn't using that picture, man. You can't get a more disrespectful rivalry picture than that, man. Like I took multiple pictures of this too. If for anybody who got the Discord access, you can go and check these up and see the pictures. I had different angles and stuff, but I was like, yo, he's stepping on LC3's neck with it. Gotta take that. And he flexing with the little arm tilt.
Yeah, bro.
Oh my goodness.
I
don't think there's a picture that can get more disrespectful than this that you will ever snap in Madden.
Man.
Like ever. And against your biggest rival, this couldn't have been. And you picked him off. You picked him off and then stepped on his neck like that?
Yeah.
Oh my. And it was literally his neck.
Yeah.
Like he's on his neck.
This, man, I had to drop my waffles, man. I was like, what is this, man?
He looked like he's trying to get up like this.
Yeah. He's like, help. Trying to get up, bro.
Struggling.
Yeah.
But yeah, he struggled in this game, man. 6 interceptions. They could not run the ball at all. They didn't really run the ball at all. Only 11 carries for Marcus Knight. But even if they tried, I don't think it would have been successful. Juan Chaney was turning up. He had a crucial fumble, though, in this game. Got to give a ton of credit, though, to the Explorers' defense. 7 turnovers. Of course, 6 interceptions on LC3. 3 of those coming from Chamberlain, who's an absolute dog. And then the other one, like I said, was the forced fumble off of Juan Chaney over the middle to start the second half. At that point, that's when I knew I was just like, well, the Explorers got all the momentum. They're turned up at this point. I don't see the Thunderbirds with all these turnovers being able to get the offense going again. And they didn't, you know. And I feel like the Toronto Thunderbirds, this is why, you know, of course they went undefeated and everything else. But when the Explorers, the Explorers, they went undefeated and everything else. But I did feel like the Thunderbirds, you know, were the better team. And one of the biggest concerns, though, for the Thunderbirds was the offense. And it's still, even though they added guys like Sharkley, Lyons, and things like that, it still really isn't enough. It's a short-term Band-Aid to just hold because they still need wide receivers. They still need explosive guys. This offensive line is still extremely young, and they tend to get bullied at times. So it's like the offense is still trying to catch up to the defensive standards. The defense is there. They're taking injury bugs. We could talk more about that. I didn't actually have any photos or anything, but it was posted even on the Thunderbirds social media account. Thunderbirds losing 2 more defensive starters on to their defense. This has historically been the Achilles heel of the Toronto Thunderbirds throughout history. They have dogs that start, but their depth, which is why they're one of the top teams, is bad. So they have a lot of money to keep really great players. But once one of those players get injured, and they just lost 3 of them, this team suffers. You know, they just lost Daniel Silverio, who just came in for Wayne Norman, who's still out. So both of those key linebackers are gone, and they just lost a cornerback in Morin Cola for 2 weeks. Him and Silverio, broken fingers. I don't know how that happened. But man, the Explorers, this was a big statement win for them. They needed this win, and they doubled. I think that's double the points of the Thunderbirds. But the defense, they stepped up big in a big way. And I heard Bill talking about this defense, right? He was talking about, hey, this defense, I knew it was going to take a step back. I knew they weren't going to be playing like how they were before. And honestly, it has. But they stepped up big time in this game. That was Columbus Explorers football on defense, right? And Daryl Johnson, he had some rough moments, but still played very solid, over 300 yards. Otago has been a dog all season long, man. C.J. Robinson making some big catches. So, man, just shout out to the Columbus Explorers. Big win for them. Still not leading the North, but even with those injuries now to the Thunderbirds, they have to play the Steamers this week. They got 3 key defensive players going against the #1 offense in the league, and their offense is still not up to par yet. So there's a good chance they could take a loss to those Steamers, right? And if that does happen, I still don't know if even at the same record, the Explorers will beat over the Thunderbirds because they split and then they lost to a tougher opponent. But they have a chance to still win the North here, in my opinion. So it's just a great game. Any other takeaways you have, from this game?
Yeah. Well, anytime I've seen the Thunderbirds struggle, it's been when the quarterback play is just not there, and when they're not able to utilize the other weapons on the field, consistently. And what you see here is if you look at the numbers between Corbin and Knight and the numbers between Johnson and Tagwe, they've got about 23 more plays that they had opportunities to get scores on.
Yeah.
And I think that that says a lot with the Thunderbirds not reaching their full play potential with the plays they need to run. And that's why the Explorers were going to be able to flip the table on them here. This game is historically always close. This is not going to be a game that's going to be outlandish blowouts. It's going to be two great teams on the gridiron going back and forth. And so, I noticed that immediately when I see the numbers that, these guys got the edge because they ran more football, and that's also because of the play of LC3. The only way the Thunderbirds get routed like this is if that QB is not playing up to par. There's rarely a time that they're not in a game at all. If they're even if they're struggling, the game is like 14-7, and they've got the ball and they're ready to, and then it ends in 21-14 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, hats off to Bill for being able to put together a game plan that was consistent from start to finish. Utilized his best players on offense, Tagwe and Robertson, and I think that that speaks volumes for why he was able to win in such a fashion, man. So good job to Bill.
Yeah, big time dub there. He loves to get a good old T-Bird victory.
Yeah.
Anytime he can beat the Thunderbirds.
How was he in chat, man? Sometimes I didn't get a chance to check him out.
He was trying to push the LC6 thing, and I was just like, nah. Don't try my guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you turned up, but at the end of the day, you know what LC3 do.
Was he losing at one point? Was he losing?
Oh yeah, to start the game, they got a pick six. Moore and Cola took it to the crib on him. But
those are the comments I like to see from Bill when he's losing. I love to read those when he's losing, man, because it's so funny, man. He starts getting stressed out. He starts saying crazy stuff. So I like to read those when he's losing, man. But I was checking pieces of the game. I actually was in the yard, but I was checking pieces of the game back and forth, man. I was like, oh wow, they really turned up on these guys, man. So yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, so moving on, this was a big game. We had two really big back-to-back games. This was for the battle of the top of the ARC heading into this week. And there was no touchdowns, straight field goals the entire game. No touchdown passes, throws, no nothing, man. Rushing wise, nobody could run the ball. Passing wise, had a couple big catches. Ross Deerdorf had over 100 yards. He had some big catches. There really is nothing that I can say about this game other than, the defenses for both teams was spectacular, outstanding. And they were that good that they slowed down some really good prominent offenses. And of course, we know the firepower of the Celtic Tigers. They were just able to get down the field in field goal range more. And that resulted in nothing but, 6 straight field goal kicks? Yeah, 6 straight field goal kicks and a bomb of a 60-yarder from a guy you drafted, Rob, with, I think it's Tyrus Wiley. Yeah, Tyrus Wiley, one of the strongest legs in the RFL. Knocked down a 60-yarder and just really, he was 6 for 6 kicking. So that's all I can really say about this game. There's really nothing to say. Shout out to Still for, like I said, the defense for Coach. I'm hitting a lot of ums for Coach Machiavelli. There it goes again. But that's all I can say about that.
Yeah, I see. Machiavelli's in the chat, man. He wants to duck out. I get it, man. No, he's not gonna duck out. But hey, take this as a win, my friend, and only because of this. You've got a method for success, and you battled against the top dog here in the league with this method for success. And I know I'm going out on a limb here, and some guys may not like it, but I truly believe that what Smitty has going on. Every week I'm looking at the outcomes, man.
Crazy.
And I'm seeing it, And you went toe to toe with him, and you didn't allow him to get a touchdown. And so, just take it like that. Take it like that. Go back, look at who your players are. Look at who their players are, and see why you lost this game. You know what I'm saying? And take that
And
be
see,
stronger.
I'm
going
glad you
forward,
see it
know?
now, because now you see why it was when guys got flustered. It's like, man, I don't understand. It don't make no sense. How am I not? And I was like, I ain't gonna tell you why, but like at the end of the day, now that you know why. This is like, you do have control. You can actually change the outcome of things. It's all about what you do going forward, preparation into that game.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's all I really got to say about this game, man. CT, top of the ARC now, 10-2. River Hogs, even though a tough loss, 9-3 on the season. Actually doing great. In the final game, I'm shocked here, but I have to say this, man. I got to give the bell to my man Reed. There's no way I was letting this pass, man.
Oh, you Reed the bell, man.
I'm going to give Reed the bell because this dude said he was talking crazy about Wolf. And I honestly thought that Wolf was going to do really bad against him in this game.
Yeah.
And then your boy Merritt comes out here and throws. He got 2 touchdowns, but 2 picks.
Yeah.
And then Wolf, 3 tutties against his Bulldogs defense and interception, still keeping his job. And he beats Reed 28-20 as the underdog. So I got to give my mans that bell, man. He got to get another one because you lost to the guy you were talking heavy about.
Come on, man.
Oh, Wolf out here like.
Yo, I can't believe you used that, man.
Look at him. He looking right at Reed, too.
Yeah.
What you talking about? What you said I was?
Look, I was trying to get the picture without the guy's shoulder, but there was somebody else right there on the side, and I couldn't. That's the best one I could get, man, without cropping it.
That boy hitting the shoot. You just can't see the lower body.
Yeah.
But yeah, just more so into this game. Man, the Huskies started out strong, man. Wolf was getting it going down the field. Guyton snapping. 2 touchdowns within this game. He didn't reach 100, but he made a lot of those 5 catches he made were big time. Leonidas going is big because you really want to try to get him going on that ground. It's not the same type of season he's had, last year. Last year was a big year for Leonidas, but this year, the style of offense, now that they got that quarterback back in play, it's just pass heavy. That's just the history of the Huskies. They're going to air it out. When you got Keith Guyton out there, air it out. That's what they do. Yeah. And so now that they got that big arm quarterback that could throw it, they just shifted that. But when Leonidas is on his day and they're giving him those carries, giving him those opportunities, and he's actually producing pretty well, he still had less than 4 yards per carry average, but he had some very meaningful runs. And that's what really helped them go. And the defense of the Huskies was big time as well, man. I put 2 touchdowns. I'll bail myself for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the defense of the Huskies really stood up big time. They kept Timmy Merritt rattled. Wheaton was going off. He was doing his thing. But at the end of the day, it didn't happen. And let's play a bell for my guy. I think it's Tajay Gaddy. Yeah, Tajay Gaddy here. Thought he had an opportunity to go ahead and play. Then they had to go ahead and pull out that review on him.
Yo, I don't know if I should be apologizing or if I should be I should be fined, right? Because wait, Reed, you actually look, guys. If you say you want to sub a player in, the player has to be subbed in. Well, I didn't even see that until after the game. You actually said.
Well, he could renege on it. He did.
Oh,
because,
he could. You can renege.
You only can renege if you have what happened in that game. Like if you saw it and made that change right there.
Well, yeah.
Then that would have been it.
Yeah.
But because he had that instant replay on it. Okay. Now, if that didn't happen, it would have been a wrap. You would have changed it, and the minute that you get in that log, he can't change that.
Yeah.
But I think he would have kept with it though.
He said, "That's how you know getting big, man," because I didn't even see his comment. Normally I see that stuff, but I didn't even see the comment that he said, "Hey, I want to sub in Tajay." Oh, you better be lucky you didn't sub that guy in, man. You know what I'm saying?
Timmy did almost try to get it back.
Yeah. Not to say Tajay is bad. I'm just saying, you guys got that ball back and you had a fighting chance. You want to have your best season quarterback in the game for that. With that said, I liked what the Bulldogs were able to do. I just wish I would have I don't know why the defense read kind of fell off a bit, man. They were getting the Wolf for a second. JT was going crazy, and then it's like it just cooled off and they just started letting this guy just throw dimes, man. And I don't know, man.
Just making better reads and dudes was getting open. Keith Guyton cooked the mess out of the one dude.
Yeah. So that's something you got to figure out going forward. But they definitely reversed that blitz. and there was nothing he could do. Holden Wolf looked exciting, to say the least. In this
He trying to
game,
keep that job.
yeah, Guyton looked good. Leonidas, I'm not gonna say
Maxwell.
Maxwell is the other.
Maxwell,
Maxwell was killing him, man.
Yeah,
Maxwell's been killing all season though.
Yeah.
Hudson Johnson had a few good catches as well. Staymates,
Dog.
the
That's a
defense,
safety.
yes. So, whew.
Yeah, I want to
Tough
go
game,
ahead
man.
and give a bell to Roland right now. And I'm going to give a bell to him because don't try to be on Brinker's side now. That was your guy, right? That was your guy. Had the rookie boy come in. Oh, get rid of him. Brinker's not good. Oh, he can't help us win. Now you trying to say he better than McBride. Get out of here, son. Get the bell. Get the bell. Don't be on Brinker's side now. You was about ready to throw him in the fish tank. But but yeah, that's it for the premier games. And we're gonna go ahead and get a look at the top 10 power rankings now. So this is how it goes. Boom. Explorers jump back up to the number 1 team in the RFL. Thunderbirds fall down to number 2. Steamers go down to 3. And it's the same here for the Celtic Tigers at 4. The Diablos jump up to 5. Now the Bulldogs, some would probably say that they should have fell further. I was talking with Forbes a little bit while I was thinking about what I was going to do with this list. I did feel like, they could have fell, but then when I thought about it, I was like, hey, the River Hogs didn't play it. I mean, the River Hogs took a loss, right? Even though they took a loss to the Celtic Tigers, it's a really good team to lose to. The Bulldogs took a loss to the Huskies. That's a solid team to lose to. So it wasn't like they played a bum team and lost, So I was just like, okay, well, at this point though, I got to give it to the Diablos because they're crushing it. So they got to fall back, and so I still got them over the River Hogs. And the way I look at it as well. Outside after that, I look at it as if these teams were to play, who would win, right? I do feel like the Diablos could beat the Bulldogs if they played. Celtic Tigers already played the Bulldogs and won, right? The top 3 teams, the other top 3 dogs for sure. River Hogs, they stood toe to toe a little bit, I guess. Well, it was just all field goals, but still kept it to field goals with the Celtic Tigers. They beat the Red Dragons. And everything else pretty much stayed the same because those guys didn't play this week. The Red Dragons didn't play. Monarchs, they played, got the win, but I don't feel like they're better than the Red Dragons. And the Bulls didn't play, they got all the wins. So everything pretty much stayed stationary at that point. The only shifts were the top 3 teams and the Bulldogs and Diablos swapping. So, heading into week 13, that's the rankings. You got the Explorers, Thunderbirds, Steamers, Celtic Tigers, Diablos, Bulldogs, River Hogs, Red Dragons, Monarchs, and Bulls. Lucia, you got any thoughts here on the rankings, Rob?
No, man. I'm just gonna be totally honest. I'm just a bit out of the loop as far as the power rankings go. So I'm going to just have to gracefully agree that this is the correct order. I really don't see anything too outlandish here, in my opinion, just from what I'm looking at. All these teams definitely have been on the come up. A little bit of a backslide, obviously, with the Bulldogs and the River Hogs here, but I get it. I think that if anything, that bull spot isn't safe. So that 10 spot, man, that 10
Bad luck.
that 10 spot, man, you know what I'm saying, is there's a lot of teams that want that 10 spot there. But yeah, that's all I got to say about it, man.
Yeah. So nothing too much to say here. I'll post this, of course, as always, on social media. And now we will go ahead and dive into this week's schedule, which is the biggest schedule that we have, which fill out all slots of games for even the schedule graphic. That is 12 games we're going to have this week. So that's big time. Let me go ahead and pull up on my end the spreads that I have. And if I could change the spread, it's definitely going to be that Thunderbirds and Steamers game later due to the injuries that happened right after the spreads were posted. I'm actually going to look forward to take the Steamers, and we'll talk more about that when we get into it. All right, so for this week, we start off Pioneers versus Voyagers. I'm taking the Voyagers here. This is a game they shouldn't lose. They're at home. And, of course, shouldn't is a tough word to say because anybody can lose in the RFL, right? But I just feel like this is the game and the team still that they should be able to sweep. I know they have had some troubles with the Pioneers. but not this year. Not this year. I don't think they should have a problem sweeping them with that home field advantage there. And I got them winning by 6. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Pioneers not the Pioneers, but the Voyagers by 6 as well. I know the schedules are comparable. I mean, the records are comparable, but I just don't think the Voyagers are really the 6-5 team that we think they are. I think they're a lot better. It's just that it's a tough conference this year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give the Voyagers the edge, and they cover the spread.
And moving on to the next game is exactly what I was talking about earlier. The Thunderbirds and the Steamers. Before the injuries, I had the Thunderbirds by a field goal. Now I'm going to take the Steamers. There's no way I don't feel that this defense this puts the Thunderbirds at such a disadvantage because they literally have 3 starting players at the most important positions you need facing this team gone. There's no cornerback to stick with the other than Eric Straughter out there. There's no corners that's going to be able to stick with the quality of wide receivers they have with the quarterback they got. The linebacking core is 8 up. No Wayne Norman, no Daniel Severio, which means you're going to have J.P. Stickman, a 180-pound linebacker, and Juice Adams III, who he was a stud back in his day in the college series UCLA, but he's still very young and not developing ever since Severio came into town, so he hasn't been a focus player. He's played in a couple of games. He's got his experience, but I don't think he's ready for the moment. With that gives up everything that the Steamers need to be successful offensively. And the Steamers defense has stepped up their game in a big way, right? And that does concern me even with the Thunderbirds. We saw what just happened against the Explorers. Now, do I think that would ever happen again where they're having that many turnovers? Highly doubt it. But I still feel like this offense, they're not going to have it easy against the Steamers defense either. Right? They just came off a loss. So with all of this happening, I just feel like the Thunderbirds I just hope the game's good. I'm going to just say that. I just hope that the game's good because this is one of the games we were looking forward to the most. And unfortunately, we don't have full health versus full health here. But this should be the Steamers game all day with those missing pieces. I mean, this is the opportunity you got to capitalize if you're Justin Jones. I don't care if you wanted to face this team full strength. You see they lost these players, I'm taking a win any way I can get it. Yeah. And so I think they should be able to do that. Offense is going to be able to I think they'll have one of the best days on the Thunderbirds defense that any team has had. Yeah. So I'm going with the Steamers in reverse. I actually might increase the spread by, I got them winning probably by 6.
Yeah. Yeah, in chess and checkers, man, no one complains about, losses because they weren't at full strength because they didn't have enough pieces. You just got to find a strategy to put together a win. Mm-hmm. I think that the Steamers are in an opportune position now to go 12-1 and really, really boost their morale, beating one of the best teams in the NRC. If I was Jones, I would put everything into the weaknesses and just go forward, man. And my last tip here is Miles Kerrigan cannot lead all rushers for 7 yards this week. You really got to find a way to get your back. Mira Williams, is he injured or was he go out or something?
He was actually playing that game. He was actually shut down. He had more yards, but usually what I do, whoever's got the touchdowns, it looks more better. Yeah, so he had more touchdowns than Amir. But Amir did not run well at all in that game. He's going to need to in this one, and he should have a chance to with those guys missing.
Don't forget, Amir is a utility. He'll catch the ball as well.
Yeah.
Steamers.
All right, so the Steamers, I'll switch that up too in the spreads, guys. So if you want to go with the Steamers, then by all means. Super Saturday, we have the Cougars and the Huskies. We know how this game went for you guys last time. I know you've been in the booth. No, I mean in the room going at it, trying to get your boys right. So you ready for this game? Definitely don't want anything to happen like last time. Going to be on the road though. It's always tough to win on the road.
Tough game,
the Huskies, I'm going to have to go with them because how dominant of a victory that they had the last time. And on top of that, what they were able to do just last week against the Bulldogs. And on top of that, another thing that is crazy about the Huskies, they seem to play the good teams really good. But then when they play the bottom end teams, they try to play to their level and end up losing like they did against the Armadillos and Pioneers this year. Literally, the Huskies would have this division on lock had it not been for those. So I do feel like the Huskies, we already see the talent they have. They just got to be a little bit more consistent. They're usually consistent against good team. I think they'll bring it. So I'm going to take the Huskies, and I got the spread here by 3 or more points. How do you feel this game's going to fare for you? What does your team need to do to be successful at the end of this one?
Well, we flipped up some things. We've gone to the Chargers offensive playbook, and we've switched over to the Pittsburgh playbook. And in my opinion, just a morale check from the mix. I feel this is probably the best offensive look for us in the game. I think that this is going to be a very good game. I'm anticipating a win. I normally anticipate wins, but I kind of won't call it. But I'm anticipating a win here. I think that no one's seen the caliber of team that I have at my hands. And with what I drafted and what I have already, I have a pretty good team. It just hasn't been able to show itself. And I feel that the playbook change that we have is the best look that I've seen in all the sims I've been able to do, man. So we're playing a tough team, but I feel that it's our time. I feel it's the second half of the season. I've learned some things which have helped me create a thicker sauce. So I think the guys will. I just want to entertain you guys on Saturday. So 1 p.m. Get everything ready. I think we're going to entertain you guys. I'm sorry for all these blowouts that we've been having. You know what I mean? But I feel that we're going to entertain you guys this week, and hopefully my young Cougars are good. And if you didn't know, the last 2 sims, the Cougars have outscored teams 90 to like 30 or 28 or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Gino has been going crazy, and Huncho has been going crazy. The defense has been going crazy. So I just want y'all to come out at 1 o'clock, and I hope that this is a turning point, and the Cougars have entered into the building, and we can start actually competing and making the fans proud to say, "Do it for Chicago again." You know what I mean? So big salute to all you guys in the Huskies, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game to watch. We got a lot of good games to watch here. Bisons and the Dreadnoughts. I'm taking the Dreadnoughts. They did them dirty opening week of the season, opening game of the season. And so they got the home field advantage as well. Bisons, they looking a little bit better than how they started, but I don't think they can beat the Dreadnoughts, especially after the victory they were able to hold on to, the way their defense played against the Voyagers just this past week. I'm going to take the Dreadnoughts by 4.
Yeah, I like what the Dreadnoughts are on to. I think Coach Frankie has found his groove this season. Big shout out to the Bisons. Big shout out to Mac, man. I know these guys. I get it. I just think that this is gonna go toward the Dreadnoughts this week. I don't see them losing this thing at home. Owen Jackson looking good. They got to get Cam going, get Perk going, man. And, this is a tough team to stop. So I got Dreadnoughts in this one.
All right, next up, we got the Bulldogs and the Black Knights. Bulldogs handled the Black Knights last time they played, 44-20. Tough loss they just came off of from the Huskies. They're going to be on the road in London. Now, we know London can get crazy, but I'm going to be honest, as great as this Bulldogs team is, I have no doubt that the Bulldogs are going to win. I got this the biggest spread of the week by more than a touchdown. I think that the Bulldogs will win this by. We've seen Jacob McCall. Even though we know he's a quarterback of the future, this year it's been a turnover. He's had turnover problems, and especially against his defense last time he played them. And so I just feel like it's going to be tough for him to cut those down. It's going to be tough for Langford Cloud to run. It's going to be tough for them to do anything offensively in their defense. I don't know. I just don't have enough faith in those guys heading into this type of matchup. Got them winning by 8 or more points. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the Bulldogs are going to cover the spread here. I want to root for you, McCall. I want to root for you, but I don't think that your offensive line is tough enough to battle against this defensive line. I think it's going to be a tough day for you. I think you're going to get sat down quite a bit here, and you're going to have a lot of incomplete passes. I think that the wide receivers are more than likely just not going to be able to get open because of the level of play from the DBs and the linebackers who are always in position. So it's going to be a tough day on your youngsters, man. So if you get out of here, man, with 14, 17 points, I'm happy for you. No interceptions. It'll be a great day for you. 250, 275 yards, 2 tutties. That'd be a great day for you, man. But I don't know, man. This thing, this might get ugly, man. You know what I'm saying? So let's just pray it's only going to be by 8 points for the Bulldogs.
Y'all finesse a win, that would be crazy. That's all I'll say. Condors and Crusaders. I got the Crusaders. They already beat them already this season in a good matchup. But the Crusaders, after what I saw them, do last, like I said, I feel like this is the better team of the two right now. I know in history before, Condors used to just be better. They both still struggle with their defenses still not being A1 like that. But the offenses are extremely explosive. I got the Crusaders by a field goal, though. It's always competitive between these two. And I just feel like they're going to get it done at home with the home field advantage.
I still like McCoy, man. I feel like, I don't know. It's just something about his edge. I think that I think that he's going to have a good game this weekend. So I'm going to actually go out on a limb and say that the Condors are going to win by a touchdown here. Maybe even McCoy goes off. I just feel like sometimes he just has these games, man, where he is just pinpoint accurate, and if he gets to doing that against the Crusaders, he could pick apart this defense. So I'm going to lean toward the Condors getting a win here. Condors by 7.
All right. Next up, we got the Elks and the Snowhawks. Pivotal game here for the Snowhawks. They lose this game, I think there's just about a 0% chance they win the division, which is already putting Mitch on the extreme edge of the hot seat. Yeah. This is a must-win game. You just got finished being the first team this season to upset and defeat the Steamers. You got to show consistency at home and get a win against the Elks, who you lost to earlier this season, right? I feel like they should be able to get this done. I'm hoping that they can get this done. I got the Snowhawks by field goal because I just don't know what I'm going to get. I would love for that spread to be bigger, but any way they can edge it out is great. I think they get it done by field goal because can't sleep on the Elks. You just can't. The defense is actually still pretty solid. Offense is still very explosive. Darius Martin is tough to stop. Latavian Worrell's got great young wide receivers. Ball placement is immaculate. So it's not going to be easy. But this team has the talent to shut that down. So Snowhawks by 3, what's your take?
Mitch, you gotta make sure that your team, your stacked team, is in a position to win this game. And all I can say is you better make sure that you have not done any foolery with your roster, and that you have put together the appropriate game plan, and don't try to be slick and get someone devved up because they're going to get something or whatever, and put someone that shouldn't be there. Just stack your team up against his team and make sure it's in a position to beat them, because the commish is here, and he's going to make these Elks better than you think they are, and you're in trouble if you don't get it right. So I think that you should win this game every time, honestly. But Latavian Worrell on the other side, he's been showing us that he can ball, and with the right touch, he's so I'm gonna. What's the spread on this?
I got the Snowhawks by a field goal.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take the Snowhawks by a field goal in this game. You have to win this game, period. But don't get cute, man. Don't get fancy, and don't try to deb someone and put them out of position and get burned or something, some kind of way, man. Just put the best team out there. Let the rest play itself. So.
All right, next up we have the Armadillos and Red Dragons. This is a very important game for the Armadillos because I feel like this is going to let us know where they stand. They're cooling off. They've taken a few losses. They're 8-3 on the season. They were front runners easy for the ARC South, but after those few losses and those cool offs, we don't know. And in the hot upbringing now of the Red Dragons, and they got the home field advantage. This is going to be interesting to watch. The Red Dragons, I got them though. I think the Red Dragons get it done at home by 4 or more points. The defense, I think, is going to put a tough hold on the Armadillos' offense. And I feel like the Armadillos' defense, they struggle the most with that at the cornerback position. And Savoy's been stepping his game up as a quarterback passing. And Anthony McIntosh, Obey Kid, Tyler Henderson, certain guys like that, that's on the receiving end of things, I think they can really flourish against this Armadillos' defense. I will put a Heads up, though, to watch out for the rookie who's been knocking heads off, David Leathers. But other than that, I mean, I don't think this defense for the Red Dragons is really nothing to fear. I'm looking for a big day out of this team, honestly. I think the Red Dragons should be able to get this done by 4 more points.
Yeah, I do believe that the Red Dragons have the edge here, but we can't sleep on the Armadillos as well. They are definitely 8-3, and right in the thick of things here in the league standings. So just another quick tip to Coach Davis: don't play around with them, man. Don't get too cute, but don't play around with them, man. Put your best foot forward. Go ahead and take this win away from these guys, but be prepared to play a tough Armadillos team that's not going to give up.
All right, next up, we got the Desperados and the Wizards. The Desperados upset the Wizards last time they played 17-13. That's a tough loss for the Wizards, right? Because that would have put them at least 2 games within the Diablos, so that they weren't so secure as the front runners in the NRC South. But now with them just out in front, leading like that, the Wizards need any win that they can get and should get as a favorite. I still have them as a favorite as I did last time they played to win this game. I got it by 3 points, though, because I know that the Desperados are going to play these guys tough. They always do. I'm taking the Wizards by 3.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Wizards as well. I think that the key to success here is going to be to get Bane uncomfortable. And if you can get Bane uncomfortable in this game, get them one-dimensional and having to run Tavion Hall the whole game, usually, you can win games against the Desperados. To the Wizards, get it done, man. Get it done. Get this win on the road. You should beat the Desperados this week. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Wizards by whatever.
All right, now moving into our last 3 live stream games. This will be the last game of the Super Saturday, though, that we close out with. Gunners back in action, taking on the Monarchs. Now, the Gunners, I know we've been talking a lot negative about this team, more so this season, but they got a real good shot. They still got a shot. They got to win out, and it really starts with them sweeping the Monarchs. They have to sweep the Monarchs to have a really great chance to make the playoffs, and that's easier said than done. Monarchs have been a tough team to beat at times. They have shown sometimes where they're weak. They cannot be that team going into Houston this week. If they want to get, finally make it to the playoffs for the first time in franchise history, this is the team you got to beat. And you got to sweep them if you can as well while you know they're down. But I know Jabri Jackson, those dudes, they're playing better football, and they can get a win. Cannot sleep on the Gunners right now. I got the Monarchs by 3 or more points, though. I do feel like the Monarchs should be the better team, should be able to walk out with this victory, but I think it's going to be an all-out war between these two.
Ramos, you're going to save yourself a whole lot of trouble by getting a win against these Gunners at this point in the season. You got to just treat this like the relocation bowl, man. Don't get into the hype of, they're not playing too well, they're beneath us. Jabri's not playing too, don't get into that hype, man. Put everything you can into your defense here. You got to find a way to stop Jabri Jackson. He is the centerpiece. There's no other player that's going to beat you on the Gunners except for Jabri Jackson. So you need to make sure that on the offense that is. So you need to make sure that you put your best foot forward. With the defense, I'm going to take Ramos in this. I think he's going to be favored, man. I think this coach is a pretty good coach. I think he knows what he's facing, and I think he can get it done against these Gunners, considering where they are, momentum, how good they've been, what he knows about football. So I think that he can get this win against Jabri Jackson. So I'm going to take the Monarchs for the upset.
Well, I got the Monarchs, so they're the favorites.
Oh, favorite.
So, yeah.
Okay, well, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so second to last game, big game here. Bulls, Aviators. Aviators lose this, I don't think they got a shot to win the division. They really don't. Because if they take this loss, they will then at that point be 2-4 in the division. They're 2-3 right now. They need this win. They're at home. But the Bulls, as rough as a start as they had, they are undefeated in the ARC North right now. They got 2 big wins. They took out the Huskies. They took out the they didn't play y'all yet. So who the other one?
They play us 2 games in the last
Huskies.
But they took out the Huskies. They've taken out the.
I'm blanking on the other.
There's no other. It's just me and the Bulls.
Oh yeah, I'm tripping. Yeah, Aviators. So they beat the Aviators.
They just haven't played us yet. So this is why it's This is why it's spicy.
Hold on, let me go back. I'm blanking.
Yeah.
Let me see who won that game between the Aviators and Bulls. I think the Bulls did win.
The
Because
Bulls
they're
won the
undefeated.
first
Yeah,
game.
of course.
Yeah,
so they need this win. I mean, this is if you let the Bulls go 3-0, you already can't be better than the Bulls, honestly, from this point because their schedule is so hard. These guys, I was just saying earlier on Dunn's podcast, these guys got the Dreadnoughts, Celtic Tigers, who else left? Bulldogs, and now the Bulls. That's what's left on their schedule.
Yeah.
That's heavy hitters. And you look at the Huskies, they actually have the easiest route to win the ARC North because they got 3 straight auto wins. They only got 2 RFL games left.
Yeah.
Right? That's why their game against you guys are very important because I feel like if they can defeat you guys at home, they're going to win the division. Yeah. And so if you even want a shot, they've got to win this game. Aviators have got to win this game. Of course, hope that you guys are able to defeat the Huskies.
Well, I think that they have it in the bag because think about it. I'm 1-2 in the division. I beat the Aviators. I lost to the Aviators. I lost to the Huskies. So I'm 1-2. This week I need a win badly to go 2-2. Right? If he wins, he's 3-0, which would mean that I need to win both of the Bulls games in order to tie it. Then we'd be at a tie. 3-2. Then it goes down to record, I guess, from there. You know what I'm saying?
It goes to the record. I just feel really like tough. The Aviators, they got to play the most RFL teams, and those RFL teams are not easy. So their chances, period, even outside the division, is very slim. They got to win this.
Does he have a harder one than me? Because I've got
one. He's got a Celtic Tigers, Dreadnoughts, Bulldogs, and then the Bulls right here. That's all bangers. You know, when you look at your team and what you got to play, I looked at it like, okay, you got the Huskies, which is tough. You got the Bulls, but then it ain't easy either for you. You got the Black Knights, you got the Bulldogs. That's why I said the Huskies really got the easiest route to win the ARC North, to be honest, right now at this point. So, which would, I think, be solidified if they get the win this week against you guys, which is why it's very important. But if the Aviators still want to stay in the hunt, have a chance, this is the game you got to win. You cannot lose any games from here on out. Like, you got to beat the Bulls. You got to be able to bring it to CT and all those other teams, or, you know, it's over for another playoff in which the Aviators won't be in.
We're rooting for the Aviators because you're really helping us out, my guy. If you those guys, man.
Yeah, I actually got the Bulls though as the favorites in this game. I got the Bulls to win by 3.
Fly high, baby. Above all others. Oh my God.
No, I said the Black Knights. When I said the Black Knights, that was more the easier team. I definitely thought he could win, but then after the Black Knights, Rob's got to play the Bulldogs and the Bulls and the Voyagers. So that's heat.
Just get it done. Just get it done, man. Oh, do it for Columbus. Do it for Chicago, back. Do it for Coach. This one's for Roby. Like Coach told me the other year, man. I did this for back. This one's for Roby. This one's for Roby this year, man.
Funny.
Get it done, my guy.
All right, in the last game of the season, Sentinels have not beaten the Celtic Tigers since season 5, which was 3 years ago. So, I mean, they have had no good luck. They at least got the home field advantage. They're the only team mathematically at this point, I would have to say, well, including the Lancers now, eliminated from any chance of making the playoffs. But this is a very important game for Tor that you would want to win because the Celtic Tigers have absolutely owned the Sentinels. I can't go outside of that. I'm still going to go with the Celtic Tigers with the way they've been playing. Got them winning by 4 on the road in Orlando.
I'm going to step outside, man, and say Orlando gets it done at home, man. I think Orlando gets this. Let me see. What is Orlando's record here?
Those dudes are 5-7. Yeah, it's been rough. It's been rough, bro.
I'm gonna throw some power to my boy Tor, man. Let's get it done. Let's get it done, Tor. Get these guys out of here, man. Tor for the win, man. Barely.
Yeah. So that is the schedule. Our predictions, and then after that, I didn't have a graphic for it because I gotta try to find a way to get a picture of this kid. But
Bill says stop being a hater, man.
Want to make the who's a hater? Hater who? Tor gets swept for two seasons, man. How's that hating?
Smitty just said the Black Knights after saying it ain't easy.
Oh, that's
with
what
the
you're saying.
Strangers.
Yeah,
I'm dead.
that's what I replied to earlier. But the Pioneers. Big news. I didn't make a post about it because, like I said, I got to get a picture. But Javier Santana will be starting for the Pioneers. So the 5'9" quarterback, won quarterback of the year in CS4, he's playing. And guess what? He had an auto win save game for the since their game didn't get saved against the Black Knights. So he got to play in a game against the Seahawks, who honestly is the worst team in both files. So, I mean, that's not too much of a hype to give him, but he looked good. He had 3 touchdown passes, which count on his stats. And he was throwing the ball very well to Farrell Rains and to DJ Evans, who now has moved out of the slot. He's playing outside. So it's Farrell Rains and DJ Evans outside now. So that's going to be fire with TJ Reynolds in the slot. Pioneers wide receivers are some dogs. So
Showtime.
It's time for showtime. Yeah, it's time to see what you can do against that Voyagers defense. Now, this is a crazy first RFL debut, the defense that you're going to have to face. But definitely want to give that shout out to Javier Santana. He will be having his first career start in an RFL game this week tomorrow. And that game, Rob, will be calling at 8, man. That's going to be. I'm interested to see what he does. I guess I could ask you that. How do you guys think he is going to fare? And while you guys type up your what you think in the chat. Rob, what do you think? Do you think he at least gets a few touchdowns? You think he looks decent? You think the Voyagers going to destroy him?
I think
they're going to destroy
him. You're throwing him. I think it's like chum in the water, man. You're just throwing him into the water on one of the best defenses in the league in the middle of the season, or the end. Well, not the middle, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The dog days of the season. I think that he's going to look frantic. I don't think he's gonna do much, man. It's gonna look cute, gonna get some passes, everyone's gonna cheer. Oh, good job. But ultimately, when this team starts to press and the blitz starts to come, showtime.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I'll tell you what though, he looks good in the face of adversity. When blitz is coming, the way he's throwing the ball, it kind of looking like he did in college, and it's good.
What's that against? What's that against?
Huh?
What's that against? The NFL team or something? Or?
Yeah, it was against the NFL team. And it was the worst NFL team that he could have played. So, I mean, like I said, you're going to look good against them.
Yeah.
I'm
happy for him, man.
Happy
for him.
Gets
to get in the game. But I just think that I think that the Voyagers are one of the best defenses in the league. They just are in a very competitive year. And I think that he's going in. And once they start doing the things that they do, man, that blitz comes fast. It's a long day.
He's got weapons, though. That's one thing out that as long as he can deliver good passes, stay firm in the pocket, he can have a good game. I don't expect him to win at all against the Voyagers, but I hope he does well.
Baker, XP Central.
All right, and so with that being said, we will now move on to fun facts. But Pat didn't have open questions with guys. Let's go ahead and start with question number 1. We got 4 facts here with Pat. So question number 1, which RFL quarterback just became the 6th person to throw for over 30,000 career yards? Still looking, no answer yet. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Put closed in the chat for me, Pat. When you hear it. Then I'll know it's closed.
Why does YouTube always got me cheesing and frozen? Oh, I always freeze, man. I'm okay now.
All right, Tor did it. All right, yeah, nobody got it. Quarterback, the 6th quarterback to throw for over 30,000 yards is Chase McCoy. He's now at 30,083 passing yards in his career. All right, moving on to question number 2. There are 3 RFL teams with 7 losses in Season 8. Name 2 of the 3 teams. Got to put them together, not separate.
Oh,
It
come
should be
on, man.
pretty
You guys
easy.
should know that. Easy off bat. We just talked about 2 of them. There it is. Chris Paul.
All right, yep. CP got it. He said the Sentinels and the Lancers, the other team is the Dublin Shamrocks to go along with that. So those are the 3 teams right now that are pretty much like extremely on the end of,
Yeah,
you're
Chris.
not making it. So 500 reloads for CP, 250 for Pat on the first one nobody got. All right, question number 3. Who is the highest overall of all RFL players whose contract end after season 8? This is a little bit.
Wait, no.
So whoever is on a contract year right now, who is the highest overall player?
Oh, well.
Yeah, don't say nothing about him. I don't know if you know him either. I mean, this is probably what throws some people for a wrench.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I don't know.
You want to send me a message to see?
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh. What's he have? 1 more year?
Yeah, he's got 1 more year.
Oh, dang. So who is that? Who is it then?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Closed.
Who is this?
See Tour when he puts in that close. Oh, somebody got it.
Who?
Mir Williams got it. Way before the close happened, and it is
Oh,
Cornell
Mickens.
Mickens.
Oh,
He's a
gotcha.
96 overall running back on a contract year
gotcha.
with the Condors, and he's balling this year. I think he isn't. He doesn't have 1,000 yards yet. He's getting close. I mean, he's definitely gonna have a 1,000-yard season. This is a big bounce back year for him too with the Condors.
I thought it was KG, guys.
All right, question number 4. Final question of Fun Facts with Pat. The last time the Bulldogs played the Black Knights, who had 217 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns for the winning team? This should be pretty easy, so you're going to have a quick time. Oh, that was quick. There you go. Jacob McCall got it, and it is Jake Winkleman, wide receiver for the Bulldogs. And that was back in week 7 in that 44-20 victory that I spoke of earlier. So that is it for the Fun Facts with Pat. CP gets 500, Amir Williams gets 500, and Jacob McCall gets 500. And then as for Pat, you get 250 because nobody got that first one. All right. So that's it for our topics. Anything you guys want to discuss in the chat? We made some pretty good time here. We're going to be closing in on like 2 hours when it hits like 10:30 if it gets that chatty. But that'll definitely be the end of the podcast. Could be earlier depending on how the chat goes with questions. But if there's anything you guys want to talk about, oh yeah, I'm tripping. We are not done. We got one more thing here. The playoff picture. Gotta show you guys who, if the playoffs were to start today, would be in the playoffs. And here we go. All right. So let me go ahead and move this over. And I'm gonna go ahead. Let's still spread it out. Don't mind the NFL teams on the right. Just look at this side. I might as well just close them off anyway, I guess. So this is what the playoffs will look like if it were to start today. So the River Hogs, Bulldogs, Dreadnoughts, Armadillos, Bulls, Red Dragons, and Celtic Tigers as the number 1 seed would be in the playoffs right now. When you look at this, Rob, what teams do you think will not be there when it officially starts? When looking at this,
what teams will not be there?
Yeah, if you had to take a guess, even if I'll say name one team you feel for sure will not be there in your opinion when the actual playoffs kicks off.
Armadillos.
Yellows.
Yeah, Dillos. I think the Dillos will be out of there. I think that the coaches, these coaches here, Davis, what am I drawing a blank? Baxter, Frankie, uh, Reed, and also Q. I think that they all have some solid methods this season, and I think that they just, I think they're gonna swarm the CPU team here.
Now,
The only CPU team.
in terms of
Yeah.
see, Bill, this isn't a picture. This is actually the game, so I can't make two of them unless I was like had two different TVs and stuff. So this is actually the game. You could tell because I could do this. You see me moving it, so it's not an actual.
You can't
photo.
put both on the same time.
Nah,
He
because
said put the NRC on the other side.
yeah, but I'm saying I would have to be in two files at the same time then for that to even happen.
Oh, you're actually in the file.
Yeah, I'm actually in the game.
Yeah,
that's what I'm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think the CPU team gets swarmed here. I know your hands are sweet, Smith.
no, but the armadillos, I mean, they're falling off. I've been saying that as well. I just see them
yeah.
falling off. If you had to take them out, who would you think would get in? That's not.
Which one of these teams would get in? Well, I think the Bulldogs. I think the Bulldogs would advance.
Well, I'm saying which not predictions of who would win against who, because of course we do that when it actually comes up. But
Got you.
a team that's not on this list from the ARC, who could you see getting in instead of the armadillos?
Oh, that's going to be one of the ARC North guys. Oh, you're right. You already got them. Wait, do you have more than one?
You can have more than one guy from a division make it, but the thing is, I feel like the ARC North is so competitive to the point where only one makes it, kind of like last year. So
because of the way it is.
Yeah.
So then you're looking at wow. Are you looking at the Miners here?
I think the Miners can get in there.
Yeah, the Miners. Yeah.
Miners got a good chance. They could even potentially win the division. If I had to go a step further, what team I don't feel could, I feel another team that I feel probably would not be here by the end of the season. Probably gonna take the Bulls. And the reason why I say that I don't feel like the Bulls, I feel like the Huskies have the easiest route. Like depending on how they do against you guys will really determine it. Because if they find a way to win again, that's their division.
Yeah.
All day it should be. And the Bulls, they look sweet. They beat the Huskies. They're 2-0 in the division, but they still got 4 more games to play, and they haven't even played y'all once yet. Mm-hmm. I think that's a lot of tough games coming up for them. They look great in the first 2, but
when you gonna do my game?
I mean, I could do it. Well, I promised Frankie I was going to record his game at the end of this podcast, so I could do it tomorrow if you want to be up for that.
What time did you want to do it?
Anytime, honestly. Because I mean
after
Frankie's
the game or what?
After what game?
After
yeah, I could do it before the game if you want.
Before?
Anytime.
Well,
anytime you're free to see it.
Well, I got to hurry up and get off here because that means I got to go and do a couple of little things because I've already done my training.
I mean, you don't have to. I wouldn't tell you to rush.
I just gotta.
Yeah. So
no, I'm gonna be at work tomorrow anyway. Then I got to call the game, so I won't be home until tomorrow. I probably won't be home until about Well, tomorrow I'll probably be home about 4 or 4:30. 4:30 because I'm not gonna work the part time tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll be home at like 4:30 for that. So I mean, I could run in and give me like an hour or so. And I don't know, but I don't know how your schedule goes.
Yeah, because I'm the only last 2 games I gotta record.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only 2 games I gotta record. Like, I gotta record you and Frankie's because Frankie's running into that same problem. He's got work, so he can't see the game on Saturday. So when I'm recording it, he wants to be able to see the game. Yeah. So,
well, I'll try to get my last setting tonight then. When we get off.
Okay, yeah.
And then I'll let you know in the morning time if I did it. If I was able to get all of it done, then you should be good. But I did all my other stuff. I just got.
You want to actually watch it in time though? That's what I'm saying. If you want to actually watch it in time, then
no.
Oh, you want to? You're not even. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Fries on Saturday, man.
You wanted to be like that? Okay, cool. All right, bet.
Yeah.
I'll save the link so the guys don't see it as well.
Okay.
He said also didn't know if you were going to get the 5 9. Okay. Frankie just hit me up with a long message. All right, let's go look at the NRC. Let me go ahead and actually make this wider. And then cut this off. And I got to go to the NRC side of things to show that up. All right, guys. This is the NRC playoff picture right now if it was to start. So we have the Thunderbirds, Monarchs, Diablos, Tigers, Elks, Explorers, and number 1 seed would be the Steamers right now. Looking at this, same question,
Yes,
Rob.
Don.
Same question here for you, Rob. What team do you think won't be here when it officially kicks up?
Stein. Yes, Stein. You out of here.
Yeah, I mean he's got a good shot, but
he's been doing well. Shout out to Kite Cash, man. He's been doing this thing, man. But yeah, clearly, man. Yeah. It's either him or the Elks.
Yeah. The only thing, did the Tigers beat the Elks this season? I don't believe they did. If they did, then I would say yeah. But if the Elks don't win the division this year, it will be the Snowhawks, right? Mm-hmm. So at that point, either the Elks are going to be here or the Snowhawks are going to be here. Yeah. And at that point, I do feel like the Tigers will have. Well, see, they would get in by winning the division. So then, what team would knock out the Tigers from being in that spot based off of who they have to face? I feel like even if they take losses to the Explorers and the Thunderbirds, with their last two, in division games that they have, with those two teams, they have to beat the Barons and the Shamrocks. If they can beat the Barons and the Shamrocks to end off their season,
the Wizards are still a good play, man. They've only got 4 losses.
Yeah. So what would the Tigers? I think the Tigers would be 11-6 if that were to happen. If they were to lose to the Thunderbirds and the Explorers, but win the Barons and the Shamrocks game, they would be 11-6. So then you got to ask yourself, when you talk about those two teams, that team that you brought up with the Wizards, I don't know about the Wizards, but they are sitting at what, 7-4.
A win this weekend, man, for the Wizards would be huge.
Yeah, they need a win. They should be able to get it against the Desperados.
Let me see this again. I looked at their schedule.
No, it would be okay. Yeah, so if the Tigers are 12-5, you got to start thinking, if they do that, what teams would be able to best that record? Almost feel like this is set.
Actually, the Wizards might be in trouble though, man. Their schedule is ooh-wee. Well, it's not ooh-wee. It's just that they got to play Mexico City twice over the next 2 games. Crazy. That's I don't know.
He said aren't done with auto wins. Yeah, so I believe the Tigers got those 4 games left. Thunderbirds, Explorers, Barons, Shamrocks. Like I said, not expecting them to win against the Thunderbirds or the Explorers, but guess what? They upset the Explorers. They did that. So they could upset the Thunderbirds. They could somehow sweep the Explorers. You never know, right?
Yeah.
So even if they get one of those wins, there's a good chance that they are going to finish the season at 12-5. Mm-hmm. I think the Tigers might actually be in there. Yeah. So if that's the case, now I'm looking at the Monarchs. They're not winning their division right now. The Steamers are, and they're the number 1 seed. So the only team, in my opinion, that's getting flushed out would only be either the Monarchs or the Tigers. The Tigers at 12-5, I think they would stay. The Monarchs are sitting at 8-4 right now.
Yeah, 8-4.
They're sitting at 8-4, and that's the only team without without being there because they won the division. So I got to look in the. Let me see what teams. Real fast are
London, the Gunners. The Condors. The Condors. 7-4.
And that's another team that could push them is the Snowhawks, but the Snowhawks do got 5 losses. Like I said, Snowhawks they're gonna get 3 auto wins though. So it's paramount the Snowhawks get a win and win out honestly, because they can make the playoffs that way. I don't like that means, I think at this point, if they don't take it, if they do not beat the Explorers, the Elks, the Snowhawks are done. There's no chance they're going to take the spot from the Tigers or the Monarchs, in my opinion. So, unless the Monarchs lose 2 games, that can happen. So, this is crazy. This is crazy to think about. He said it's only 2 spots for exactly. I think we're already looking at the playoffs. We're already looking at the playoffs, exactly what's going to happen. The Thunderbirds for sure are going to be in there. Steamers for sure are going to be in there. Diablos for sure are going to be in there. Elks for sure going to be. We literally only have 2 teams that we don't know. That's how clear-cut the NRC is at this point already in Week 13. But we still don't know who's going to be in those 2 spots. But there's a good chance the Tigers keep theirs, and there's a good chance the Monarchs could keep theirs as well. So, but this honestly could be what we see. But yeah, let me know you guys' thoughts below. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And then we're going to go ahead and just put up the power rankings here. And then we can have the open questions. We got 10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes open questions. Close out of here at 10:30. If we went 2 of the 4, that'll put us at 2. Yeah, if you win 2 of the 4, 12 and 5, I think you guys can do it though, man. He said Explorers and Elks aren't guaranteed. Tell me how the Explorers aren't guaranteed. Elks are definitely guaranteed. I don't know what Roland's talking about. I mean, Explorers are. they just took out the Thunderbirds, man. And like, okay, they took the loss to the Tigers, but there is no way the Explorers are not going to finish out the rest of the season strong. I got a question for Smitty and Mix. If y'all were to create a player, what position would you choose and what college would you choose? If I was to create a player, man, definitely wouldn't be a quarterback because I'm tired of him. I'd probably want to be a wide receiver like I was in real life. I probably would submit myself and probably would. I probably would do that.
I always valued the linebacker position. So I'm definitely going to create a linebacker, and he's definitely going to go to Alabama.
Oh, yeah. What college would I choose? It sucks because my favorite is UNC and Maryland. I know Maryland hasn't been good in our series. I probably would go to North Carolina because when the new college game comes out, I'm pretty sure my guy would probably be able to go in and get drafted. So, all right, got another question here. Well, Amir says Smitty has jinxed the Explorers now. Yeah, that's what y'all said when I said the Explorers are going to go undefeated after they beat the Thunderbirds and win the chip. I didn't jinx them then. I wish I did. Boys went undefeated and won a chip. He said, does flex scheduling begin week 15? Yes. Week 15 is when we're going to start flexing games. Yeah, it probably did now. Say it's only 6 and 7. Oh, I didn't read Q's question earlier. It said Elks spots is mostly between them and Snowhawks, so that spot is not up for grabs, which was my point. Yeah, I do feel like those are the only 2 spots that could be taken in NRC for real. Yeah, okay. And then it says, any dark horse teams on y'all's radar right now? Any team that if they got in the playoffs would shake up anything? I feel like, honestly, any team that at this point isn't really in and they found a way to get in is getting stumped first round. That's just how it goes. Like, it's great. Yeah, I made it. But history in the RFL proves that when a team that really isn't supposed to get there gets there, they get stumped. They get did dirty. That's kind of how I feel like the Tigers are going to be, honestly, if you guys make it. But it's a great storyline. You know what I mean? At least you guys made it for the first time in franchise history. But do I feel like the Tigers are going to,
make a deep playoff run?
No, not at all. Not with those teams there. But I'll tell you what, they do have a chance to win the first round. You want to know why? Because you go back and look at this. Look who they would have to face if they did. They beat the Diablos this season, 20-10. I could give y'all a first round. Second round, you're dead. But first round, y'all, if y'all could pull that off, but I still would definitely say that the Diablos will be the favorites in that game. Great when you guys got against them, but do I see y'all doing that again? No, I don't see that. All right, back to show the schedule here. I keep reading here. It says, say Georgia, Smitty. Nah, I wouldn't go to Georgia. My teams would literally only be North Carolina and Maryland. It's my favorite teams. I wouldn't want to go anywhere else. And since North Carolina, in my opinion, is better, I would go there. Dang. Let's see how it is. So Explorers have Tigers, Barons, Gunners, Steamers, and Condors. Okay. I got the Explorers beating the Tigers second time around. I got the Explorers beating y'all. I got the Explorers beating the Gunners. Steamers, I don't know about that. Condors, they're going to beat them. So if there's any game on here, in my opinion, that I'm worried about for the Explorers is literally just the Steamers. Barons can be tough too at times. You never know. You guys, y'all usually have good games. But especially after what I just seen them do to the Thunderbirds, I'm not worried about none of those teams on that schedule except for the Steamers for the Explorers, man. What? It says, bro, I just really want to see the T-Birds in one for power rankings. Well, you must have missed the last couple of weeks. When did y'all play, Bill? Because ever since the Thunderbirds beat the Explorers the first time, they were number one. Monkey Man. Thunderbirds were number one until they just took this loss to the Explorers. So they've been up there, and they could get back up there.
So Barons are still in this thing with 6 losses?
Nah, they definitely don't see a shot. It says rolling, and they already have 10 wins. LOL.
He said he could get in if he wins out.
Who's on you? Let me check this man's schedule. Roland always talking crazy, man. Let me see.
Dang. This is Zaza.
Oh my goodness. He said this. Yeah. Let me schedule back up. Okay, nothing's getting ruined because they didn't play any game this week. Yeah. They got an auto win. All right. So alternate. All right, so looking at this, you guys, okay, where y'all sitting at? What's the Barons record? I know they got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They already got 6 losses. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys are 5 and 6 right now. You're gonna be 6 and 6 after this. Thunderbirds, no. Well. After the injuries, those players are still gonna be gone. So if there's any chance of you to beat the Thunderbirds, it's here. But even with that, they're at home. That team is still talented. Wow, I'm still going to go with the Thunderbirds.
Bro, look at this, man. T-Birds,
yeah,
Explorers, and Tigers. The only teams.
So let's say even if we give you the Thunderbirds because you have that, right? So let's say this is 6 and 6. Let's give them 7 and 6 due to the injuries of the Thunderbirds. I would never take you guys if you didn't have that. But 7 and 6, 8 and 6, you guys would go here. This is where you guys lose. Yeah, this is where you guys, I see you guys losing. So I would say 8 and 7 at that point. Tigers, now I would say this, man. I see why he's thinking this now. He's got a good shot of beating the Thunderbirds now because of the injuries. He's got these auto wins, which means all he has left is the Explorers and the Tigers. We know that these games can get close. He's got the home field advantage against the Explorers. You never know what can happen. But I do got the Explorers as the favorites. You lose one of these games, it's over. But let's just say if he somehow finds a way to get by that, and then he has to play the Tigers.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like the Barons made such an improvement based off of what we saw in the beginning of the season. I think the Barons can beat the Tigers. I'm going to be honest. So, at least right now, it might be different when we get to this actual week and the spreads come out. But I do feel like the Barons can beat the Tigers the second time around. So if he does that, yeah, he could. He's got a chance to win out.
Look at him.
He's got a chance to win out. But even if you were to do that, what would your record be in the division? Oh, he would have split with every team then. So if he split with every team, you'll be 3 and 3. Yeah, you're not. The Explorers would then be 3 and 3 because they lost to them. Thunderbirds, I don't see them losing to the Tigers. So at that point, yeah, you wouldn't make it anyway. Thunderbirds would win the division.
Go ahead, do the hustle right now.
Let me look at the Thunderbirds too.
Hey, you heard that song, Smitty?
What song?
You heard that song? Do the hustle. Do the hustle.
So let's look at the Thunderbirds, right? They could lose. I got them losing this week against the Steamers due to the injuries. Say, for instance, you get that win. The Thunderbirds here, I think they're going to be able to beat the Tigers and be 4-2 in the division. At that point, it's stamped. These dudes most likely going to win the division. They got an auto win right there. Lancers beatable. Monarchs beatable. Granted, they don't get any injuries. So even if you were to even win out somehow and beat the Explorers, which I just don't think you're going to do, you wouldn't. I don't think you would best the Thunderbirds record-wise. I don't think you'd be able to catch them. So, yeah, I don't see it. All right, let's see what else. Let me go back. I think I missed quite a few questions. Okay, guys, got some questions today. It says, I wasn't here for this, but I feel like it should be number 1, Steamers, Explorers. Cut the humbleness out, Bill. Get out of here. You know, he always try to put his team, try to deflect jinx.
Yeah,
nah. Your team's number 1. You just knocked off the number 1 team, son. You just knocked off the Thunderbirds in solid fashion. Ain't trying to hear this Steamer should be number 1 after they just lost with the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, this guy.
So cut the cap. All right, then it says, okay. He says, okay, that's fair. Then he says, you got to learn the NRCQ. If Barons win out, we're in. No. It says, also, if the Barons win out, pigs will fly. Okay, they're coming at rolling. What you mean I got to learn the NRC? You tripping. It says, you got that going for you. It says, rolling tripping. I don't think you watched the same game I saw last week. So do you think the Tigers can split our 4 games versus Explorers, Thunderbirds, Barons? Yeah, I do feel like you guys can split. I think if I feel like it's going to go this way for the Tigers, to be honest, Rob. I think that the Tigers are going to either beat the Barons and the Shamrocks, or somehow they're going to find a way to beat the Thunderbirds or the Explorers and then get one of the Barons or Shamrocks game. I think the Shamrocks game is a shoo-in for the Tigers. It should be. Because the Shamrocks are just struggling. They struggle to get wins. They look good, but they just can't win. You know, so I think that you guys should be able to win 2 out of 3. But you could lose to the Thunderbirds, Barons, and Explorers. I can see that as well. So 3 auto wins, 3 division games. Yeah, it's tough. I just don't see the Barons doing that. And even with the injured Thunderbirds, man, I'm still going to have the Thunderbirds as the favorites. So, like, it's not going to be easy getting that win just because they hurt. They banged up. And Wayne Norman's coming back that week. So that already helps the linebacker core a little bit. So how long does it take for a rookie roster to be updated after someone submits a player? We don't do any of that during the RFL season. So what happens is once the RFL season's over, then we'll start diving into that. We'll start creating you guys, college. Yeah, for the college series when that happens. But right now, straight RFL season, man.
Get out of here.
Says you already lost to the T-Birds and Explorers, so with the same record, how would you even get in over them in a tiebreaker? Even I don't see it happening. Be better on the road. I hear you. About a week.
So what's with the mile? We on a.
Here goes rolling again. Explorers use my book. Get out of here. Trying to claim a book. Get out of here, Roland. Oh my God, this guy.
I've got your book now. Thank you.
Anybody who ever used the book that Roland used, he came up with it first. He's the new soldier boy.
Yeah.
All right. Coach Roland is a great guy, but they ain't beating the Thunderbirds. I don't see it happening, man. I still got the Thunderbirds as a favorite. I wouldn't be shocked if they do due to the injuries though. Wayne Norman may be coming back, but to be losing that corner with Morincola as well and Daniel Silverio, that is pretty tough. Says they need Explorers and Thunderbirds to lose out though. Yeah, and that's not happening. All right, thanks. And it says, oh yeah, I forgot you invented the Charger book. There go Bill with the pushback. Almost like he invented the Minnesota book. So you're telling me this shit.
The Charger book. This guy.
Or at least lose a point. This should be customary when you see Roland talking. He's just going to say anything and have the utmost faith in his team, and he's going to do it. But I don't think it's going to work out how you think. But I says no. Roland says he's a wild card. Sweet. That's another thing. If you don't win the division, you saying you're a wild card, bro. You already have 6 losses. You're not going to be able to take that away from the Tigers. They get their 2 wins. You're not going to be able to take that away. That alone right there tells you, well, if you could beat the Tigers and they lose there, yeah. But then you have any 12-5 team, I think will have the advantage over you. So at that point, yeah, I don't see it at all. Oh yeah, I gotta post pictures of the games, guys. Sorry about that. I posted it. I put it in the thing, but I didn't post them in the Discord. My bad. It's not being humble. The Steamers have shown that they're the best team. No, it is being humble. It is being humble because if you just not the Thunderbirds and the Steamers just lost, right? We didn't expect them to. Well, I wouldn't say. Yeah, I still had the Thunderbirds as a favorite even in the game against y'all because how they looked the last time y'all played. But if you just did the Thunderbirds like that, and we still haven't seen the Thunderbirds and the Steamers yet, even though like the Steamers most likely won't win this, then yeah, I'm not going to put the Steamers over the Thunderbirds when they lost to, and you just beat the Thunderbirds. I know you guys split, but in that case, I would have to have the Thunderbirds over you. And based off those 2 games, you had the more dominant showing, so I would have you at number 1. So until we see what happens the following week and what the Steamers does against the Thunderbirds, even though they're banged up, like there's no reason for the Explorers not to be the number 1 team. So if Roland wins out, we got 14 teams. Who's out? Yeah, Pat just going in on Roland right now. Out of pocket, but who you got in the Relo Bowl? If you had to come up with a Relo Bowl prediction right now, Rob, who would you say?
My Relo prediction is going to have to be Steamers and
I really do feel like the Steamers now after that got a good shot.
Steamers, and I'm gonna say, man, I'm gonna have to say Bulldogs, man.
Bulldogs?
Steamers and Bulldogs. Yes.
I ain't really feeling the Bulldogs because their losses.
The River Hogs?
I don't think that. I'm gonna be honest here, man.
Unless for some reason,
bro, I feel like CT could get back in there.
The Huskies swoop, or all right, CT's looking pretty good.
I feel like this. Really do feel like CT could get in there, man.
CT's looking pretty good.
Because I'm looking at the teams left that would be in that, and I'm like, there's nobody there that they can't beat. Like honestly, like they beat the River Hogs already. They beat the Bulldogs already. Like there's no team that they honestly cannot beat in that conference at that point. So to me, if they get in the playoffs, man, I think that they got a really good chance of making a conference championship, of making a Relo Bowl. I'm gonna be honest. It ain't no if they get in the play. I know they're gonna get in the playoffs, but if they play like this, they continue to play like this, I see it, man. I do feel you though on the Bulldogs, but where I lost that for the Bulldogs was when they lost to the Huskies, because it's like, honestly, they should have took that game. Like that Huskies game should have been a game to show like, yo, we can beat. But I feel like there's flaws that can be exploited in the Bulldogs that the Celtic Tigers, maybe they can't take advantage of it because they got to play the second time. They beat them 30-16 last time they played. I do feel like the Bulldogs will beat them the second time around. But if they were to meet again, I do kind of feel like the Bulldogs can have a good chance to beat them. But I feel like they'll falter somewhere else. Like I feel like if the Huskies somehow make it, they'll lose there. If the who else is right now where it's in the playoffs that we were talking about?
Hey, the best thing that Jones could do right now is to get that seed, man. Because if he gets that number 1 seed and he gets that free game, essentially you could watch the Thunderbirds and Explorers and Diablos all eliminate themselves or together. You know how it is when you get the strong teams in the middle and they eliminate each other. That makes it much easier on the Steamers to just walk through. That means they would only have to beat one of those 3 teams, those powerhouses,
And I think it's going to be stamped on this
Yeah.
game this week, and they're in the driver's seat, like you said.
Yeah.
If the Steamers beat the Thunderbirds, and I think that stamps that number 1 seed. And once they get that number 1 seed stamped, like you said, just going back, let me go back to the playoff situation
Just
again.
imagine the Snowhawks have to play, one of these teams, the Explorers or something like that, and they get a win. You know what I'm saying? Then you've got Steamers with an auto win. Then they could easily, essentially, just play the Snowhawks in a revenge game and just walk in. You know what I'm saying? Walk in. So
You guys can see my.
It's,
No, it's not showing up. Okay, but anyway, so let's look over here. It don't even matter who's in the 7 or 6 spot.
Yeah.
The way I see it is, or even the 4. The Explorers are going to advance. Diablos are going to advance. Thunderbirds are going to advance. Right? I feel like the Thunderbirds are still going to win the North, even if they didn't win the North. Right? No, the Explorers and the Thunderbirds cannot avoid each other in the second round. They have to meet each other in the second round because the number 1 seed is playing the lowest seed, which, actually that works in favor of the Thunderbirds if they win a division. Because, or the Explorers, if they're whoever wins the North, right?
Yeah.
Since they're the number 1 seed, they would play the weakest, which would be. They would play the second weakest. So the Thunderbirds would play the Diablos, and the Explorers will move on to play the Steamers.
Steamers, yeah.
At that point, I
Unless
got the Thunderbirds winning.
Unless, Vinny. Unless the Elks and Warwell.
That would be crazy.
revenge
If that
against
happens, oh my God, Bill would be no good. Oh
Then
my
you're going to
goodness.
send the Elks to the Steamers?
Yeah, either way, whoever it is, the way I look at it is, realistically, the Explorers would then play the Steamers. So if I'm the Thunderbirds, honestly, this is kind of good. You probably don't want the number 1 seed, because if you can stay at number 2 and you can win that division over the Explorers, and you get this, that means you get the Diablos. Diablos aren't going to be easy either, though. I'm not going to say that, but Thunderbirds, I think at that point they'll be 100%. They should be able to beat the Diablos. Then they move to the conference championship. Explorers and the Steamers. One of those teams got to win to go to the NRC, the championship.
Spicy,
and honestly, man, it's great for the Thunderbirds because, say for instance, if the Steamers do win that game, I feel like 100% healthy Thunderbirds is like the kryptonite to the Steamers, because now they got their defense, which will combat their offense, and then I think the Thunderbirds can beat the Steamers if they're 100%.
Yeah, Luis.
So. Yeah, that would be crazy. NRC is going to be crazy, bro, because of those top 4 teams alone. The Diablos, you don't know what the Diablos could do. They could probably come up with an upset. Diablos, Thunderbirds, Steamers, and Explorers, that's going to be a great playoff to watch. Yeah. But if the Thunderbirds can stay where they are, that's actually best for them, because they don't have to play the Steamers or the Explorers. They could go play the Diablos. It's not going to be easy, but they should be able to win that. And then they play whoever wins that in the conference championship. And like I said, if somehow the Steamers find a way to finesse and get by the Explorers, that's the advantage of the Thunderbirds. So that, if I'm Bill, I want to take the number 2 spot from the Thunderbirds, because that means now that's your fate. Because if you can win the division and you can take number 2, now you don't have to play the Thunderbirds or the Steamers, and you got to play whoever wins that game next. And honestly, we got to see how you do against the Steamers, though, because you already shown you can beat the Thunderbirds. I feel like if the Thunderbirds play the Explorers in the conference championship, I think the Explorers go to the Relo Bowl. I just feel like the team matches up well with their offense. The offense still ain't developed yet like that. But if somehow the Steamers match up well, the Thunderbirds match up well against the Steamers. So that's how I look at it. Either way, it's going to be the Steamers, Thunderbirds, or Explorers, in my opinion, that's going to represent the NRC. And then for the ARC, like I said, I'm really feeling CT. I really feel like CT could be any of those teams. They already did it. And so we'll see. It says we could take down the Explorers, says the Elks. It's Luis Cardenas.
Yeah, Cardenas. Yeah, Luis.
Yeah.
Talk that talk, boy.
Yeah, anything can happen in the playoffs, man.
Yeah.
Steamers steaming the way to
Gotta
the
love
Reload
Luis,
Bowl.
man.
I would love to see the Steamers in the Reload Bowl, though. I ain't gonna lie. Let's see that for them. It's a great team. Been balling. I would like to see what they would look like, how they would do in the Reload Bowl. All right, guys, we definitely reached over our time. We were supposed to get out of here at 10:30. It's 10:45 now. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the Reload cast, man. Reload recap. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Here's a look at the schedule. To Javier Santana making his first start for the Pioneers. Rob's going to be calling that in Houston as the Voyagers look to try to bounce back after their tough season at 6-5. But that's going to be it here for us, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Oh, big shout to the guys who've been hitting me up too, man, about the job and everything.
Oh, yeah,
guys, I didn't have a chance to respond to those guys, but yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you, man.
All right, guys. We'll go ahead and see you guys tomorrow. Peace.